Yo, what is good, Ice Gang? Iceman here, and today we got a reaction video where we're gonna be reacting to deadliest drugs you didn't know existed. So we're gonna be seeing some drugs that you guys might have known, I might have not known, and see what they do. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel to turn on post notifications so you know when I upload. Trying to do daily uploads. Might switch it up, do every other week, not every week, but every other day. Just so I can give out, better quality content, more consistent, all that good stuff. But, yeah. Let's get into the video.
Ever heard of a high so weird it leaves your breath smelling like you licked a toilet bowl?
No.
Or drugs so potent they skip the hangover and go straight to zombie apocalypse? Get ready. On today's episode of the Infographic Show, we're
Shout out Infographic Show to the channel. All that love.
revealing the deadliest drugs you didn't know existed.
All right,
Number 10. The first ever meme drug. Some of you might be old enough to remember the early days of the internet. It was a time when videos like shoes ruled, and most users had the good fortune of not knowing what a 4chan was. That all changed when a brand new drug called Jenkem entered the American consciousness, and 4chan would be largely to thank for that. Jenkem itself is considered by many to be more myth than fact, largely thanks to the 2007 spread of a hoax through American media culture. But we do have a report from 1995 by the Interpress service that references the drug being cultivated by street children in Lusaka, the capital of Zambia.
What?
According to the report, street kids would harvest human feces from sewer ponds using cans.
I'm just a regular guy, but I've got this condition.
And bottles, and then cover them up with a plastic bag. The contents would then ferment and release gases like methane. After a week, the kids would remove the plastic cover and huff the contents for a powerful but brief high. Technically not considered a drug, the use of Jenkem might be disgusting but perfectly legal. It would produce a longer-lasting high than sniffing glue or gasoline, two other popular ways of getting high for poor street kids. In 2007, a moral panic spread throughout the U.S. as parents worried that Jenkem had found its way to America, and it was now a popular drug of choice for teenagers all over the country. However, an investigation revealed that the entire controversy could be sourced back to a post by user nicknamed Pickwick on Totsie.com. It turns out Pickwick had faked creating a batch of Jenkem as nothing more than a joke. Even in 2007, like whoring was alive and well, and Pickwick's joke would spread like wildfire. Never once to miss an opportunity to create cultural chaos, 4chan users quickly picked up on the joke. They helped fuel it in an attempt to convince kids to actually try huffing poop for themselves. Jenkem might have never been as popular as claimed by reactionary media, but it appears to be a very real drug that at least some have turned to in desperation. Symptoms include
how desperate do you gotta be to do some shit like that? No pun intended. Fuck out of here. Like, bro.
Crappy breath, literally. Hallucinations, low blood pressure, and mood swings. If you or a loved one are huffing your own farts, please don't wait. Act now and seek help. Number 9. Bath salts. To be fair, you probably already knew about bath salts, but what you still don't know about bath salts is pretty shocking. In the early 2010s, America got a sneak peek into a fresh man-made hell with the widespread adoption of a brand new lab-made and perfectly legal drug nicknamed bath salts. A man in Florida ate somebody's face while allegedly high on bath salts. And while that's a regular Tuesday for Florida, it was shocking news across the rest of the country. More incidents began to pop up, and soon the entire world was asking, what in the world were Americans snorting that was turning them into real-life flesh-eating zombies? Packaged innocuously as bath salts and labeled not for human consumption, these synthetic drugs exploited a legal loophole to flood the market unchecked. And where were they coming from? China. Labs there mass-produced these substances, shipping them en masse primarily to the U.S. Marked as synthetic marijuana, bath salts could produce a very short-lived but intense high, similar to a powerful stimulant such as cocaine, while playing hungry hippos with the rest of your brain chemistry. With artificial derivatives of powerful psychedelics, bath salts were a witch's brew of bad alchemy that would send you on a rage zombie trip into the stratosphere with a better than zero chance of eating a neighbor's face. Chinese labs have infamously been the primary suppliers of precursor chemicals for other drugs that flood American markets, such as fentanyl. The situation has gotten so bad that the U.S. has exerted significant diplomatic pressure on China to cease and better control exports of precursors, with Chinese authorities taking largely ceremonial measures to do so. Bath salts evaded regulation for years and they were sold everywhere from truck stops to 7-Elevens, where they were billed as performance enhancers, energy boosters, and anything in between. While bath salts have turned out to not be behind the infamous Miami cannibal case, users high on them have engaged in acts of ultra-violence against strangers and even family members. In one case, police shot a man high on bath salts, failing to stop his aggressive charge even after emptying a full clip into him. A teenager from Kingsport cut her leg open in order to dig out imaginary worms. Another man in Kingsport drowned while high on bath salts. Not a particularly shocking outcome until you learn he was only in knee-deep water. Synthetic drugs like bath salts are now illegal, but that hasn't stopped China from exporting thousands of tons of precursor chemicals to drug cartels in order to aid them in flooding American markets with deadly drugs. Number 8.
Looking to get stronger? Join Planet Fitness today.
We're stepping it up.
We're not slowing down.
We're gonna feel this tomorrow.
The tourist trap drug. It's a warning you'll see posted on many digital nomad forums. If you're traveling across South and Latin America, be wary of being drugged, and not without good cause, as drug-related robberies of foreigners have exploded across the region with the rise of the digital nomad lifestyle. In particular, a lot of media attention has focused on Medellin, Colombia, with frightful stories of a brand new drug being used to turn people into walking zombies. It's known as burundanga, or devil's breath, pharmaceutical name scopolamine. The drug has a variety of health benefits, and it's regularly used to treat severe vertigo or nausea. But it's the street use of the drug that's terrifying. Tourists visiting South American cities have reported horrifying encounters being drugged and put into a zombie-like compliant state. Victims don't just fail to fight off their attackers, they actively cooperate, handing over everything from their wallets to personal passwords and even access to their bank accounts. In 2010, the Colombian State Department issued warnings due to the rise of sedatives to target and attack tourists. Criminals have turned to scopolamine because it is odorless and tasteless, making it easy to put into someone's drink. It's the amnesiac effect of scopolamine that makes it terrifying, though. Victims could take hours or even days to recover, only to be left with no memory of what just happened to them. Though media focuses on tourists, the truth is that in Colombia alone, 50,000 people a year are targeted, primarily native Colombians. Dating apps are a popular trap for both tourists and natives, with tourists explicitly warned about meeting women on dating apps. Everything from food and drinks to even cigarettes are spiked with scopolamine. Once inhaled, the drug goes to work from inside the lungs. The drug is also powerful enough to work simply by administering topically. An attacker could walk by and spread a strange substance onto your exposed skin, administering a powerful dose of the zombie drug. But let's just cut through the hype. Is the drug really as bad as reported, or is this another Jenkem-style case of overly alarmist media? Chemical submission is the process by which various drugs and chemicals are used for the purpose of overpowering a person. This includes everything from common techniques such as plying a victim with alcohol to new and exotic synthetic paralyzing or anesthetic agents, like scopolamine. It's a very real phenomenon around the world, though some nations have a history of wider use than others. Browsing through medical literature, though, scopolamine seems to be a minority case for instances of CS, and the media may be overhyping the actual results. We couldn't find a single verified case of people being turned into fully compliant zombies, for instance, though in one case a victim appears to have handed over banking details to his attackers before succumbing to the drug. However, because the dose used in this case was lethal, it's unknown if the attackers already had access to the victim's financial details or perhaps found them somewhere like in the victim's home or a computer. So, can you be drugged and turned into a willing zombie with scopolamine? To an extent, yes. Scopolamine attacks are very real, and there is very little you can do to protect yourself, given how easy it is to expose a person. The best thing you can do is avoid known trouble areas and travel with trusted groups of people. This next drug comes with some pretty disturbing images, but even they are nothing compared to what's waiting for you in the #1 spot. Number 7. The real zombie drug. Xylazine, or tranq, is a modern epidemic that's turning people into real-life walking dead. Combined with its euphoric, calming effect, tranq got its nickname as the zombie drug, both from how it left its users looking and from their slowed reactions and dulled intelligence. It reminded many of old-school Hollywood zombies. Originally developed to be used as a sedative, a pain reliever, and a muscle relaxer for animals, tranq is approved for use in animals but not humans. However, since the early 2010s, drug manufacturers have been mixing tranq in with other drugs in order to make administration easier and give the users a more powerful high. Fentanyl is frequently mixed with tranq simply because a dose of fentanyl is usually no bigger than the head of a pin. In fact, anything more than that is likely to kill you. However, such a tiny dose is logistically impossible to administer, so instead, the fentanyl is mixed with larger doses of tranq, which has the side effect of boosting the high from the opioids.
Just 2 milligrams of fentanyl, the size of a few grains of salt, can be lethal, bro. Think about that, bro. Think about that, bro. That's so crazy. Like, I don't think people understand when they cut fentanyl, bro, into whatever drug or whatever they're cutting it into, bro. They don't them themselves know this information, right? Generally, anyone dealing with drugs should generally know the information with your hand. If you don't, not your business. They themselves don't really even calculate, okay, I'm going to put this much fat according to this much what I'm cutting with. They just kind of like, I ain't going to say dump, but they just kind of put it in and mix it up, and just like leave it, and then just they have to go. This is what I think. I might be wrong, but this is what I think. I think they give it to homeless people and people on the streets to try to see, like, okay, what goes on? Do they like it? Do they not like it? To see if the batch they made was good. But even then, within the batch, you don't even know how to separate. Okay, did you mix it out fully throughout the whole thing? So one person's batch might be light, give them high still, but another person's batch might be too much, and they die from it, bro. That's what I'm saying. Like, this shit gets serious, man.
Well, how is tranq turning people into walking dead? As a powerful sedative, and we do mean powerful, tranq can leave people in a euphoric stupor. This prompts many habitual users of tranq to develop bed sores, similar to hospital patients that aren't regularly rotated or exercised. These sores, however, will often go untreated and can grow in size until they cover large areas of the skin. Entire chunks of flesh can effectively rot and fall off the body. Addicted habitual users will often show little concern as long as they can keep getting high. Infection at the injection site is also a common origin for some of the more
Let me show you how to block this ad. First, you're going to click on this video, then you're going to download Pod. It's an ad blocker that's
horrific effects of tranq. How these wounds progress as horrifically as they do is currently a mystery, though researchers believe that there is a combination of effects at play. Poor nutrition in drug-addicted individuals can hamper both the body's ability to repair itself and to fight off infection. The infection itself can result in itchy scabs that the user picks at. Slowly but surely, the wound grows and spreads until it leaves a large part of the body looking like a reanimated corpse. It's also believed, however, that tranq's effect on blood vessels has a lot to do with the spread of these wounds. Tranq can constrict blood vessels and elevate blood pressure. It eventually makes it difficult for the blood to circulate properly and pass through and into tissues. This effect, compounded by others mentioned before, could lead to necrosis and destruction of the flesh and skin. What drug will improve sex but give you cancer in the process? That's coming up. But first, number 6. Bath salts, the sequel. Synthetic drugs, once sold under the label bath salts at gas stations nationwide, may now be outlawed, but synthetic drugs themselves have exploded in popularity. Thanks to advanced technology and accessible education, the wonders of chemistry are becoming easier to master. This means street dealers worldwide are turning to cheaply made synthetics to flood the market with potent new intoxicants. Flocka, the most popular of synthetic cathinones, has exploded in popularity in 2014 and 2015. A cousin to the various witch's brew of synthetic drugs once sold legally over the counter, Flocka has more than lived up to the reputation bath salts once had, and exceeded it. In Fort Lauderdale, a man high on Flocka approached police at a police station, claiming he needed to go to jail. Clearly misunderstanding how the whole prison system thing works, the man decided his best move was a dramatic escape. He bolted from the cops, scaling the police station's metal fence. He ended up impaling himself at the top, remaining painfully stuck until rescued by the fire department. Another Florida man, no surprise there, high on Flocka ran his car into a jail trying to break inside in order to visit his friends. Long-term use, though, can lead to permanent psychological harm and lifelong delusions or mental disorders. And you can get it for cheap, as little as $5 a dose in some places. We just scratched the surface of these terrifying substances, and there's a whole lot more to come. But which of these drugs has shocked you the most so far?
All right, since they just asked, because we're going to answer the question respectfully. Right now, I'm not going to lie. the real zombie one, bro, because you really on junkie mode. And that shit cut with fence, so you really double down junkie mode. Like, you really junkie, bro. Like, you really going dummy, yo. Comment down below at this part of the stage of the video, what do you think is the craziest drug right now, bro? Because right now, to me, it's the real zombie, because you really on junkie mode, bro. Really on junkie mode.
Let us know in the comments. Number 5, the sleepy time drug. Gamma hydroxybutyrate, better known as GHB, is a powerful substance that's growing in popularity and showing up everywhere from bars to clubs to the highest levels of power in various industries. And the goal is the same: render you unable to resist someone physically. The drug is nearly tasteless, although alleged to be slightly salty. However, when mixed into a liquid, it dissolves completely, making it invisible. But it's the ability to mix GHB into a variety of delivery methods that makes this drug so terrifying. It can be administered in pill form, dissolved into a drink, or sprinkled onto food.
And my lights came off, bro. That's so, I'm sorry for that, y'all. My lights came off, man. But, see this? You see this? They know why they put that there. They know why they put that there. They know. You know. We know. We all know. Come on now. They know why they put that there. Because you can put in that too.
It can even be absorbed internally through agents like lubricant. GHB, however, can also be used to fight depression and even stimulate muscle growth, which has made it a popular drug of choice for amateur chemists, along with the fact that it is fairly easy to produce the precursor agents for GHB. This only ups the risk, though, as both these homemade brews and those bought from equally amateurish drug dealers can be dangerously impure or have inaccurate doses. Every time you take a dose of GHB to fight off the gloomies or build muscle mass, you are rolling the dice with your physical and mental health. GHB abuse is believed to cause long-term psychological harm and bad trips that can end in tragedy. This next drug will put you through hell, but the drug in the number 1 spot will make you physically look like you belong there. Number 4, Seventh Heaven. Those of you who enjoy raves probably recognize the nickname of this next drug. Exploding onto the scene in the 90s, a variety of party drugs became increasingly popular in clubs.
The one plugin that I want to showcase here is this bad boy. It's called the God Particle. The only thing.
Okay. Cool.
Clubs across the world. One of the newest variants, 2CB, is quickly becoming a scourge, though, due to a whole rash of unwanted side effects and a propensity for very bad trips. 2CB is a psychedelic drug capable of impacting all 5 senses, making it a popular choice for those looking for a strong trip capable of lasting several hours per dose. The drug can alter mood, perception, and even sensations of time slowing down to a near crawl or speeding up to a blur. Users often report feeling like they've stepped outside of time itself. Some even state that the drug allows them to slow time down so as to more fully absorb details in the world or in a conversation they might have otherwise missed. Part of the appeal of 2CB is the powerful visual and auditory hallucinations that it can manifest, affecting each individual differently. On the positive side, users report vivid experiences like explosions of color synchronized with the music, resembling an artificial form of synesthesia, to encounters with loved ones who have passed away. However, on the negative side, 2CB can create nightmarish distortions of reality, and because it affects all 5 senses, individuals can not only see these hallucinations, but often feel, smell, and even taste them. The uncontrollable nature of 2CB's hallucinations are what makes it dangerous. In certain individuals already prone to mental illness or suffering from them, these hallucinations can trigger a catastrophic worsening of their condition. The fact that the drug is often combined with other drugs specifically to enhance its psychedelic effects only makes it more dangerous. If you've learned anything by now from this video, it is that bad alchemy can be deadly, and mixing and matching drugs is definitely bad alchemy. The 2 most commonly mixed drugs include cannabis and opioids, such as tramadol. When mixed with weed, 2CB creates a much more potent hallucinogenic experience, but it's commonly known to increase the chances of a bad trip. Mixing 2CB with opioids for their euphoric effects comes with a hidden danger. It can significantly lower the body's threshold for seizures, posing a serious risk, especially to individuals unaware that they're already prone to such conditions. 2CB is commonly taken in powder form, though it is available in pill form. Snorting 2CB can be extremely painful due to the crystalline structure of the powder, in effect sandblasting the delicate tissues inside of your nose. Like cocaine, prolonged abuse of 2CB by snorting can actually cause substantial damage to your nose. Want more crazy drug trip videos? This drug delivers them in spades. Number 3. The drug that'll have you fighting sandworms. We've already chatted about synthetic cannabis and the explosion of synthetic drugs on the market starting in the late 2000s. One of these variants of synthetic cannabis, however, has garnered a reputation for driving people completely out of control. The opposite of what millions of people hoping for a mellow marijuana-like high were hoping for. We're not on planet Arrakis, and no, you're not Timothy Chamomile or whatever his name is, but you too can experience the joys of spice. A synthetic attempt at recreating the high of cannabis, spice has become a catch-all term for various types of fake weed, and they're all terrible and horribly dangerous. THC is only a partial agonist.
Side note, bro, I had a person I was working with at I'm not even gonna say the place because this is gonna sound crazy, but one of the other places I worked at, a coworker was trying to dead eyes give me to smoke some spice with him, bro. I'm like, cause he's telling me about that shit, bro. He talking about that spice. I'm like, bro, what is this nigga on, bro? What? And he's like weed, man, that shit don't hit the same. You gotta put a little deuce. He said that's what he call it, deuce. You gotta put a little deuce in that. I'm like, if you don't get your deuce head ass out my face, bro, I'm like, bro, he just kept trying to do it, but I'm like, bro, I'm not doing no deuce with you, bro. And realistically, I'm never even gonna smoke with you, cause I don't know what you be smoking, so I'm never even gonna hit any of your L's unless I see you roll it. Even then, I know your slick ass gonna try and put a little bit of deuce when I look away or just real quick. No, hell no, I can't even smoke with you.
Meaning it only partially reacts with the cannabinoid receptors in the brain. But synthetic cannabis is oftentimes a full agonist, meaning it will completely saturate and activate all of the body's cannabinoid receptors, even in low doses. This is why spice will wreak havoc on your brain, while THC's effects are much more mellow. Research is still lacking into the effects of spice and other synthetic drugs, but it is believed that long-term use can either cause development of mental illness or seriously aggravate it.
Brain got deep fried. He's deep fried.
Psychotic episodes in long-term users have been documented, often lasting long after an individual has stopped smoking spice. Physical health effects can also be severe, and the manufacturing process itself is often to blame. In 2018, hundreds in Illinois were
The truth is, behind closed doors, the P word became my secret sin at age 10. And for the next 17 years of my life,
rushed to the emergency rooms across the state after smoking synthetic cannabis laced with rat poison. The poison had entered their lungs, causing them to cough up blood, suffering from bleeding gums, severe bloody noses, bleeding internally, and even causing them to urinate blood. 3 people died after smoking the bad batch, which was traced back to 3 convenience store clerks who had been serving up some under-the-counter goods. We're almost at the #1 spot, and we're warning you, you better have a strong stomach if you're gonna stick it out. But first, number 2, poppers. You won't believe how many drugs people use every day to get high and are not just legal but sold over the counter at stores all over the nation. Nitrites, or poppers as they're known if you're not a fudging nerd, are one of those perfectly legal drugs abused by millions. Well, technically they're not legal if sold for the purpose of getting high, which is why manufacturers get around legal restrictions with the lowest amount of criminal effort possible. But first, what in the world are we talking about? Poppers belong to the alkyl nitrate family, and they can release powerful fumes when their containers are open or popped. The nickname comes from the distinctive popping sound made when the glass capsules they originally came in were crushed open. While they're now sold in small plastic bottles, the name has stuck. As far as drugs go, poppers are not very powerful. Usually they create a feeling of mild euphoria, bodily warmth, and accompanying dizziness that only lasts a few hours at most. It's this quality, along with their chemical makeup though, that makes them so dangerous. Because they typically have such a short high, sometimes measured in minutes, users tend to do many in rapid succession, with toxic effects. When used prior to sex, poppers help relax the body, and the mild euphoria they produce can heighten the feelings of pleasure. This has led to a culture of party and play, where users will imbibe in a variety of chemicals prior to engaging in sexual intercourse. Most poppers will have a high that lasts around 2 to 5 minutes, which helps add to the danger of overuse. Direct contact with the skin by some poppers can actually cause chemical burns and severe inflammation, especially around the nose and mouth. Swallowing rather than inhaling a popper can also lead to a dangerous drop in oxygen in the blood, causing extremities to turn blue from a lack of oxygenation. They can also cause unconsciousness and have been known to put people into comas and even kill. Poppers have been documented to cause temporary changes in eyesight from routine users. They've also been linked to a direct increase in sexually transmitted diseases, likely because users who are high are less prone to making decisions to have safe sex. Some poppers have also been shown to be carcinogens, increasing the risk of cancer in habitual users. So, how is it that poppers remain perfectly legal for sale? That would be because in order to skirt around drug laws, poppers are not advertised for human use. Rather, companies that produce them will label them things such as room deodorizer, leather polish, nail polish remover, or even cleaning solutions for various electronics. With names like Buzz, Heavy Duty Bolt, Bang, and Purple Haze, though, it's no secret what their intended use is. Number 1. Crocodile. Crocodile is a designer drug with origins in Russia and Eastern Europe. A synthetic opioid, it's easily manufactured at home with codeine, which up until 2012 was available over the counter in any Russian pharmacy. Russian chemists discovered they could boil codeine tablets alongside a diluting agent such as paint thinner, gasoline, and hydrochloric acid to produce desomorphine. Desomorphine is 8 to 10 times stronger than morphine and much faster acting, though it lasts shorter than morphine, which really spikes up its addiction potential. Like any homemade drug, Crocodile suffers from an incredible degree of contamination due to the manufacturing process. Crocodile is so powerfully addictive that even if one customer dies, there's always more to take their place. But Crocodile is so deadly that on average, an addict will only live for 2 years. The drug's curious name came about due to the effects the drug has on the human body. Crocodile results in necrosis of the skin. After injecting the drug, the injection site will become swollen and painful, with the skin soon after becoming discolored. Ulcers will form as the tissue around the injection site begins to die and slough off. It's believed that it's not the drug itself that's causing these effects, but rather the myriad toxic chemicals used in its production and present in the dose being injected. Paint thinner and gasoline can be extremely harmful to skin, and even more destructive when injected directly into the body. The inevitable hardening of the flesh and black discoloration is what earned Crocodile its name, due to the resemblance to the scaly hide of a crocodile. Damage will progress down past the skin and into the muscles and the cartilage underneath. This will cause muscles around the injection site to also die off, eventually simply shedding off of a user and exposing the bone underneath. The limb may retain some function depending on the muscles affected, but because users must find new areas to inject themselves, the damage tends to grow outward from the first injection site, slowly consuming entire swaths of the body. Crocodile can also cause bone death and infection of the bones themselves, even far away from the injection site. Bacteria can enter the body through deep wounds and penetrate into the bone itself, and thanks to damage to blood vessels that Crocodile creates, reduced blood flow can also lead to a loss of oxygenation to the bone. Amputation is inevitable as the entire limb becomes useless. Gangrene and other serious infections will inevitably set in, leading to death if not treated. But organ failure is the most common cause of death for Crocodile users, and addicts who don't get treatment will on average die within 2 years. One of the most horrifying and destructive drugs in the world, Crocodile is always under threat of wiping out its own customer base, prompting dealers to push it hard in order to snare in new addicts to keep the cash flowing. Did any of these drugs surprise you, or do you know of others? Share your thoughts in the comments. Now go check out Real Reason Fentanyl.
It's so deadly. We know why fent deadly, man. That might be another video, but yeah, like, woo, bro, that shit was crazy. Nah, I ain't gonna lie. The worst one to me, bro, realistically, has to be. Let me go back through this shit. Crocodile, that one. Let me just reminisce. I gotta reminisce real quick. Yeah, it's this one right here. Which one is this? This? Because, bro, no funny. It could be a real high, right, with your experience, or a real low. I'm going to just call it Nexus. That's what it is. Or 2C-B. But Nexus, bro, yeah, that's the geekiest one for me because you feel, right? You experience, you see everything. And that could either be a real high or real low. So it's like you're taking a risk to fuck up your whole night or to have one of the latest ones ever, but I personally wouldn't take that risk. Because how I live right now, I'm good. I'm good. The second one, though, for sure is Crocodile. No question about it. Like, you're literally injecting gasoline and paint thinner. Fuck is you doing? Fuck is you doing? So, yeah, yo, comment down below what you think is the worst one and which one is probably like, yeah, just which one is the worst one? These all are pretty, but like, yeah, whichever one's the worst one. It made it to the end of the video. I appreciate every single one of y'all. I appreciate the love and support y'all give me. Y'all keep push me to keep on doing all this stuff that we're doing right now. Putting that work. We putting that work right now. You know that. So yeah. Don't forget to like, comment, share, sub, turn on post notifications, so you know when I upload, all that good stuff. Yeah, Ice Gang. Well, I'll catch you on the next one. Ice Gang. Iceman. Oh.